The world-famous Swiss manufacturer Rolex, which is responsible for creating some of the most expensive high-end mechanical watches in the world, has once again shattered the record for being the brand that has the most incredible resale value of its famous historical timepieces. Rolex watches are among the most sought-after collectibles in the world. In the year 2022, the beginning price of a Rolex is set at $13,337, so if you are in the market for a truly classic watch, this is the brand for you. The following is a list of the top 10 most expensive Rolex watches that have ever been sold at public or private auctions throughout the history of the brand. But before we start our countdown, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also press the bell icon. 10 Rolex Platinum Diamond Pearlmaster. Price, $277,850, sold in March 2011. As of right now, the Rolex Platinum Diamond Pearlmaster is the 10th most costly watch the company has ever offered for sale. The Rolex Platinum Pearlmaster, in contrast to its current sister, is really derived from the Day Date collection rather than the Datejust line. This 39mm dial of this watch is created from a unique meteorite diamond, and its one-of-a-kind bezel features exactly 42 diamonds in total. This watch is part of a limited time edition. 9 James Bond's 1972 Rolex Submariner. Sold in November 2015 for $365,000. This Submariner was actually worn by Sir Roger Moore in the 1973 film Live and Let Die, in which he portrayed the famed spy James Bond. The film was called Live and Let Die. It was sold at an auction in Geneva in 2015 for a total of $365,000, despite the fact that the watch is no longer able to accurately read the time. For the purposes of the movie, it differs significantly from its original design, and Roger Moore personally signed the back of it. The bezel of this watch was modified to resemble a circular saw, which James Bond used in the film to cut through a rope. Meanwhile, the magnetic field of the watch was utilized to unzip Miss Caruso's stunning dress. As a result of the legacy and notoriety that the James Bond series has bestowed upon it, this wristwatch is among the most sought after in the entire globe. 8 Rolex GMT Master 2 Ice. Retails at $485,350 in 2020. The impeccable craftsmanship of the GMT Master 2 Ice is the primary factor that contributes to this watch being the most expensive model that Rolex currently offers. It is entirely encased in valuable stones, and it is crafted out of a white gold that is quite refined. The dial features a design that is created out of diamonds and gold, and it also includes a power reserve that is good for 50 hours and a waterproof case that is resistant to water up to 100 meters, or 330 feet. On December 28, 2019, while participating in the 14th edition of the Dubai International Sports Conference, one of the most famous football superstars of our time, Cristiano Ronaldo, wore this watch. The conference is held in Dubai. 7 Jack Nicklaus Rolex Day Date. Sold for $1.22 million in December 2019. In 1967, Rolex presented golfer Jack Nicklaus with an 18-karat gold Rolex, and since then, he has had an incredible amount of success wearing it. Since it was given to him as a gift, he has proudly worn it pretty much every day, and it has accompanied him on 12 out of his 18 major professional championship titles, such as the US Masters Championships, PGA Championships, or the Open Championships, as well as various other events throughout his career spanning 5 decades. It was sold in a private auction on December 10, 2019, for the price of $1 million, which, when combined with the buyer's premium, totaled $1.22 million. Nicklaus's charitable organization, the Nicklaus Children's Healthcare Foundation, received the money from the sale as a donation in his honor. 6 Eric Clapton's Rolex Oyster Albino Cosmograph Daytona. Sold for $1.4 million in May 2015. The Oyster Albino is a very rare watch because there are only 4 of them in the world with a dial that is only one color. This makes it a really special watch. The dial of a Daytona watch typically has 2 different colors, one of which is used to contrast the chronograph totalizers with the rest of the dial. This specific watch was offered for sale in public auctions, where it was purchased not only once but twice for staggering sums of money. The first sale took place in 2003 and resulted in a price of $505,000. The second sale took place in May 2015 and resulted in a price of $1.4 million at another Phillips auction in Geneva. 5 Marlon Brandos Apocalypse Now Rolex GMT Master. Sold for $1.952 million in December 2019. This GMT Master Rolex was sold at a price that was far more than anticipated following only 15 minutes of frenzied bidding at a recent Philips auction in December 2019. This watch, which was created in 1972 and worn by award-winning actor Marlon Brando in the 1979 film Apocalypse Now, is one of a kind due to the fact that Francis Ford Coppola requested that the bezel be removed for the film. The film was shot in 1979. In and of itself, the black leather strap that comes with it is nothing to write home about. However, the majority of Rolex watches do not come with leather straps because the brand is famed for its bracelets. 4 Anti-Magnétique Reference 4113 from 1942. Sold for $2.5 million in May 2016. The Rolex Anti-Magnétique Reference 4113 was first introduced in 1942 and is currently ranked as the 4th most costly Rolex watch that has ever been purchased. In addition, the case is 44mm, making it Rolex's largest ever produced. There are only 12 copies of Reference 4113 that are known to be in existence at this time, according to what has been discovered. This particular model was at first conceived of as a one-of-a-kind present to be presented to the winner of a competition. The second timepiece on our list that has been successful at many auctions is this one. Most recently, in 2013, it sold at Christie's for $1.16 million. Then in May of 2016, it sold for almost exactly twice that amount at an auction in Geneva held by Philips. 3 Rolex Bow Die. Sold for $5.1 million in May 2017. This particular Rolex reference number 6062 was initially sold to the Nguyen dynasty's final monarch in Vietnam in the year 1954. It was the most costly Rolex watch that had ever been produced at the time. Because of its magnificent gold case and its black dial, this Rolex watch is not only one of the rarest but also one of the most identifiable models in the company's history. According to Hodinkey, the watch was only ever created in a limited run of 3 pieces, and it is the only one of the 3 to feature diamonds on the even hours. As a result, it is considered to be one of the most desirable watches in the entire world. At an auction held by Philips in Geneva in May 2017, the Bow Die brought in a total of $5.1 million. The Nguyen family had originally sold this watch in 2002 for the staggering sum of $235,000, which was the highest price ever paid for a Rolex watch at the time. 2 1971 Rolex Daytona Reference 626 Unicorn. In May of 2018, the property was sold for $5.9 million. Simply understanding why this model costs such an absurd amount of money requires nothing more than a look at its picture. The Unicorn is the only vintage white gold Rolex Cosmograph Daytona ever produced, and the proceeds from this sale were donated to the charity Children Action by watch collector John Goldberger. 1 Paul Newmans Rolex Daytona. In October of 2017, the property was sold for $17.8 million. The Patek Philippe from 1943 that was sold for $11 million in 2016 has been dethroned as the world's most expensive watch ever to be purchased. The previous record holder was Paul Newman's Daytona, which was sold in 2016. Collectors are willing to pay a high price for this specific model because of the interesting history of its previous owner. During the filming of Winning in 1969, Paul Newman's wife Joanna Woodward presented it to him as a gift. At the time, Paul was a leading actor in the film. Rolex is a brand that can be associated with the wealthiest and most powerful people in the world, in addition to being a luxurious and desirable product that only a select few privileged individuals are able to enjoy yet. It is a representation of one's achievements. Thanks for watching till the end. Subscribe our channel for more top 10 videos. And don't forget to hit the bell button for all the latest updates.